Hi, my name is Lennon Parker. I'm the Digital Communications Specialist at University of Arkansas Pulaski Technical College in North Little Rock, Arkansas. Today I'm going to briefly go over about how to create a virtual reality presence for higher education. This video is based off a webinar we had recently with InstaVR, the software company used to create these virtual reality tours that you're about to see. We had some technical issues during the webinar and were unable to record it, so hopefully this video will help those who attended, those who wanted to attend, and just those who are interested in creating a virtual presence on their campus. After the video, I'm going to have my contact information, and please feel free to contact me if you have any questions, need help getting started, and I'll be happy to help. So let's take a look at virtual reality. We had created virtual reality as a marketing tool to help recruit future students. In the past, our admissions office would go out, share program information, talk about the programs, pretty much what your school does on a recruiting basis. But we wanted to take it to the next level. We wanted to give our future students a look and feel of what it's like being on campus. So we turned to virtual reality. And since we started our virtual reality tours, it's taken a life of its own. We now offer virtual reality for our facility rentals. So when someone is interested in renting one of our buildings, they can look inside the rooms that's available for rent, or look inside one of the buildings that's available for rent. And since we started doing this, our rentals have picked up, because in the past we had a really small picture, and it's kind of hard to make a decision if you want to rent a room if you've never been in it based on a smaller picture. So that has helped fulfill that need. We also use virtual reality for our advising labs. So if you're new and you're trying to find the lab and you need to know what size it is, where it's at, what it looks like, we now have a virtual lab that you can go to and look around. So when you do come to campus, you can be like, oh yeah, I saw that. I've been there. Well, at least virtually you have. So I'm going to show some examples of what we've done and how it's been beneficial. So let's begin. Right now, you're looking at the landing page for our virtual reality tour. We have all of our locations listed here. We have a web version and a mobile version. The mobile version can be watched on a computer, but it's very nice on a cell phone. So we wanted to have two versions. Now the web version, it's really neat on a computer and you can read more about the building, but the mobile version, it's strictly just the virtual reality. And I like the mobile version better, but there's some people that like looking at this on the web. There's some people that like using the headsets. You can use a headset, you can use your cell phone, or you can use your computer to do these tours. So let's take a look. On the right side of the page here, I have directions because I want to put this page out to someone who's never done VR before. So I have our navigation icon. I have our picture icon, and I have our headset option. When you use your cell phone and you pull up the mobile version, it'll ask you how you want to view it, and usually the icon with the headset up here will appear. So I want folks to be aware right away when they see that what it is. The navigation, you'll see this on the web version and the mobile version, and this lets you walk through the buildings, lets you go through the halls, let you look at objects. Images, when you click images, you can see the activity that goes on in the room. So not only can you walk through one of the rooms or look at one of the labs, but if you click an image, you can see our students doing activity in that room. So that gives the prospective student the feel of, okay, so this is what it's like being in the room. So this is what they do in the room by seeing their peers doing the activity. Just recently, we started virtual reality 4K video, which is like taking what we currently have to the next level. Instead of having stills, we now have an actual video that you can walk around and see live activity going on in the actual room, which I'm going to show later before this video ends. So before I keep jumping ahead, let's start by looking at one of the tours. And like every cooking show, to save time, I already have stuff pulled up so we don't have to wait for things to load. So let's click the main campus, and when you click the main campus, this page will come up. What I did was I took one of our 3D renderings of our main campus, and I have it labeled based on what we have listed in our schedule of classes and how we have it listed on the web to pick your classes. So that way, when a future student comes to this page, or a current student, and they're trying to find a building or trying to go into a room they've never been in before, they can look at their schedule, they could look at where they signed up and be like, okay, CCB, that's the campus center building. So I wanted to keep it very consistent. So let's look at one of these buildings and get an idea of what goes on. If you click the web version, let's let it load. Here you go. You can write a little description below and see pretty much like a history of the building. You can have custom branding. You can have your logo here, the name of your building, the name of your school. You can click this, the navigation icon, and you can pick which hallway you want to go to. One of the reasons why I built it like this is I want the user to get a feel of what it's like being in the room. I've looked at other tours where one hall doesn't have a navigation, one hall does. I want the user to feel like they're here. So kind of like the books, if you remember, Choose Your Own Adventure, you could pick the left hall or you can pick the right hall. So when you click one of these, it'll take you further. And you can start walking around, seeing the different stuff going on. Here's where it gets fun. Now we're going to actually look in some labs. So let's look at this lab. Here's one of our labs. There's no students in here, but as soon as I swap this out and replace it with the virtual reality video, which you'll be able to see students walking around, you'll see instruction going on. But for now, this is what we have, and you can click this icon and a picture will load. Depending on your internet connection, might take a few seconds. Well, there you go. You can see the activity that goes on in this room. If you click next to it, the picture should pop off. Now, what we're using for the quality of pictures you're looking at now is the Theta S, and that shoots really good images. You can take great stills. You can even shoot video with it, but the video quality really isn't that good. Just recently we purchased the Theta 5, and it's awesome. It shoots 4K video. The images are a higher quality, the colors are more sharper. So that's the model I recommend purchasing if you're interested in setting up a virtual campus and looking for equipment. And again, that is the Theta 5. And you can exit and you can go back right out. One of the things I like to do is put entrances, exits, because you're going to walk around the room and be like, hey, how do I leave? There's some tours out there that once you go into a room, that's it. There's no exit. So I always try to put an exit so the user can pop out and go to the next office or go to the next building. What I like about the web version is no matter where you're at in the tour, if you click this banner, it'll take you back to the landing page. So let's look at the mobile version. This is one of our other campuses, our Little Rock South campus. And you can see how large it's about to appear on a computer. It's pretty large. On a cell phone, it's excellent. Right up here on the corner is where you'll see the icon with the little headset. You click that, you'll see two little circles. You slide that into your Google Card box or your VR box, and you can look at it with a headset. Without a headset, don't click the icon up there, and you can look at it on your mobile this way. Now, if you try looking at this on your cell phone using the web version, you're going to have trouble scrolling, moving around because of the way it's set up. So if you set up a virtual campus on your school, I would definitely do a web version and a mobile version. So another thing that I like to do is I don't want these to be real boring. And walking around some of these buildings, after a while, okay, what's new? All right, another hallway. So I try to make it really fun. And one of the compliments that we have received, let's scroll down and look at our aerospace. One of the compliments we have received is giving students like a first experience. And what I mean by that is, believe it or not, we're learning that some of our students have never been inside an aircraft. Some of them have never been inside a big rig. So when you look at our trucking school, where we have our trucking lab, you can go inside one of our big rigs and see what it's like to be in the front seat. So if you're interested in becoming a truck driver, you know what it's like to be inside one of those. One of the things I've received a lot of compliments on is this right here. This is our Aerospace Center, and I have it set up where a student can go inside one of the aircrafts and see what it's like being in there. But again, I want to share these icons. I really like having these picture icons because it makes it more personal. You can see the activity that goes on this particular plane. And I know a lot of schools that use clip art and stock photography, and I don't really think that's personal. I think it means more when a student can see something like this. Hey, wait a minute, that's that same airplane I'm looking at on this virtual tour, and I see real people touching this same aircraft. I think it makes it more personal and stands out more. But as you see, I'm walking around, I'm looking at the ceiling, looking at the floor. I'm walking forward. Here's one of the aircrafts right here. So let's go inside it. There you go. There is what it's like being inside one of these. So if you're watching this video and you've never been inside an aircraft, hey, you've been inside this aircraft on YouTube. And again, like my exits, I want people to be able to look around this hangar if they want. So if I click aircraft exit, it takes me out of the aircraft and I can start looking around this lab. So hopefully I've not been boring anyone too bad here. The next thing I want to show you is editing. A lot of times you'll go out there and you'll shoot 360 and you'll see, wait a minute, I see some dirt. Believe it or not, dirt will show up. Or if you're doing some remodeling and you shot it one day and then 2 weeks later they decided to paint the room or they decided to redo the floors. You could go into Photoshop and change some of the pictures to a point. And let me show you an example of what I've done. Okay, here is an after shot. This is one of our labs, which does not look like this anymore. They have gone in and redone this building. But at the time, I wanted to get all of our buildings done. So I went ahead and did this lab. And if you look around, the walls look pretty clean. The floors look pretty clean. But let me show you the original. This is what it looked like before. You see some dirt here. You see something on the wall here. I'm not sure what it is. So I wanted to clean this up. Now I'm not a fan of false advertising, but at the same time, if I know we're about to change it, we're about to get rid of it, I don't mind going in there and making some tweaks. And it doesn't take very long to do it. You just come up here if you've got Adobe Photoshop. You just come right over here. Take this tool here, start moving it around, and there you go. You notice some stuff that doesn't look real nice is starting to disappear. One thing I do want to point out though, and I said this in the webinar, you don't want to take away from the 360. If you notice the still image, you see the 360 bend. You see how it's kind of like mirror, it's almost bended. You see how it's kind of bended up here? You don't want to take away from that, because if you go to upload this in InstaVR, which I'll show you in a little bit later, it's going to look very funky. So you want to stay away from touching any of the stuff that kind of bends or starts warping out. Try to keep it solid. Like when you go to edit the solid areas. If you see any area that is bended up here and you want to clean it up, go into this tool right here and select it, and then go into your image settings and brighten it up, or just play around with it, but be very careful. Okay, so we're back to the landing page. We've looked at some buildings. I've showed how we use our navigation, our images icon, and the difference between web version and mobile version. One of the things I would like to share is our facility rentals. Now, I know a lot of colleges that are watching this probably do the same thing we do and rent out their rooms, rent out their buildings. So let's look at our facility rentals. Now, like I mentioned earlier in this video, in the past, we had images kind of like what you're looking at now. You can't really get a feel of the room by looking at these stills. So setting up a virtual version of these rooms really was a huge success for us. So what originally started out as a tool for recruiting, we're now doing it for rentals. And I was told that since we've started doing this, our rentals have picked up, because now if they've never been on campus, they now have a better feel of what it's like to be in that room. So let's look at one of these rooms. And one thing you'll notice, I keep everything in order. We have our contact person for rentals, the application, and I still have our web version and mobile version, because no matter what you end up using virtual reality for, you always want to have two versions, because there's always going to be that one person that won't be able to see it on the certain platform. So having two versions will be very helpful. So let's look at our theater. And one of the things I did for the web version, I repeated the contact information, because when they see this, they're going to be like, oh, wow, I want to go rent that room. So instead of having to go back, click, 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 I made sure the contact information appeared right below. And again, as you see, I'm going right through here just like I did with the building tours. Get up on stage. But you can walk around the stage, look at the ceiling, look at the lights, see what type of lights are put up there, look at the screen, podium. You can actually sing up on the stage. I'm not going to do any singing though. And again, I always have my exits just in case you want to go back. And there you go. It takes you right back to where you came from. As I mentioned earlier in this video, we started using virtual video. And with virtual video, you can see what you're looking at right now is live activity going on in this particular lab. And what you're looking at, every summer we offer a kids culinary camp where kids get to come up to the college and learn how to cook. And it's been a really successful program. So what I wanted to do was test out our video virtual reality in this lab. And I posted it on Facebook, and it was a hit with the parents, because the parents can go in and see what it's like in the room that their kids are learning. They can get a feel of it. Not only can they get a feel of it, but they can take their mouse and move it around. They can see all the kids working. They can see someone giving some instruction there. They can see the kids going over here and cleaning dishes. Hopefully they're cleaning dishes when they go home. But it's really cool. You can look at the ceiling and say, hey, let's see what the ceiling looks like where my kids are learning at. And what we're going to do in some of those labs that I was talking about earlier, we're going to go in and shoot virtual video in our welding lab. Go in and shoot virtual video in our other culinary programs and get it up on our virtual tours. So when the prospective student visits our tour page, they can get a really good feel of what it's like being in that class. So if they're interested in becoming a welder, they can see what it's like putting on those gloves, putting on that helmet, and beginning to weld. And I really think having a video virtual presence really stands out. I think if you're interested in going to school and you're interested in a particular program and getting to see it and to get to see it with real people that you might be working with, I think it's a huge deal, and I think it would be very successful at your campus. I was told by our missions office that when we had an event where some high school folks came down that were fixing to graduate from high school, they put on the goggles and they looked at our culinary school, and they were so impressed that they went out the following week, made an appointment, looked at the campus in person, and are planning to enroll. I thought that was really awesome, and their first experience was the virtual reality. So on that note, one of the things I want to talk about is the marketing. I showed the front page, and you can have your own headset if you decide to. And let me show you what that looks like. This is what our headsets look like. And we ordered these from Unofficial Cardboard Inc. And they were around $3 to $5 a piece. But I believe when you order them in bulk, it's a little bit cheaper. But the cool part about this is not only does it promote your virtual reality, but it's a good marketing piece. You can give these out as prizes. You can give these out to the counselors at your high school and have them leave them on their tables, so it puts your brand out there in the schools. And even if somebody picks up this headset and they're not interested in going to your school, they still have a headset with your school's name on it, and someone is going to see that. And it just puts your name out there all over. This person may get tired of the headset and they give it to their friend. Their friend may actually be interested in attending your school. Well, here you go. You have your web address on it and your logo. Now, with these headsets you're looking at, the front has our logo, the bottom has a web address. On the back of these, I don't have a picture. I should have taken a picture. We have directions on how to use the VR headset, how to stick your cell phone in it. So that way you get these and they're like, hey, how do I use this? How do I stick my phone in it? Is it going to fit? There's directions on how to do that. So now that we've looked at the virtual tours, we've looked at the facility rentals, I've shown how we can get a customized VR headset. Let's look at how the VR tours are actually made. And that is through InstaVR's software. And what you're looking at right now is the dashboard for creating one of those tours. This is the tour for the Aerospace Center. This was the example I shared with the aircraft. One of the things I want to point out is I'm one person. I'm one person that built the entire virtual campus by myself. So if you're wondering if you're going to need to hire additional people, if creating a virtual campus is going to require more hands on deck, it's going to be very expensive, the answer is nothing to worry about. InstaVR has a educational discount, so they understand the struggles of being on a tight budget, and they have great prices. And Andrew is our contact, and his information will also be available after this video. So if you're interested in InstaVR services, his information will be there. Again, there's no hardcore programming involved. There is nothing that's going to give you a headache that's going to be involved. It's very simple. It's easy to use. You can do a lot of customization in here. And let's take a look. I think I've talked long enough. So this is the dashboard for the Aerospace Center. And as you see, I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 videos in here, actually stills. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sync these up with each other. And with their software here, I go in, it's pretty much point and click. I'm assigning different areas to different images over here. Now, one of the things you'll see here are the icons. The picture icon here was customized. Originally, without the picture, I think it just appears, let's see what it looks like. There you go. There's the default. It's a couple of circles and an eye. So with that image, you can go in there and customize it. Now, I picked that image because everyone knows that's going to be a photo. So when you go to customize your icons, I would recommend keeping your images looking like they would on a search engine or something that people are familiar with. When you have things that are very familiar, you're always going to get compliments because people are going to be like, hey, I know what that is. You can also include video in here, and I've seen some folks put in the YouTube icon with the little red square with the play button. And again, you can choose the color. Now I picked red because it stands out, and there's going to be some backgrounds in some of these buildings that the white isn't really going to be appealing. You're going to have trouble seeing it. So when I have the red, it's going to be out there. People aren't going to have trouble finding it. And as you can see, it's very simple. You see the name of the file here. You see where, if I click this, where it's assigned to. If I click this, you see where the image is assigned to. And then once I've got the tours built and I'm ready to go with this, I can come over here to branding, and you can customize it. You can do a splash video. You can do your logos. You can do your icon. And if you're wondering, okay, how big does this need to be? If you touch the question mark over here, all that information will come up. It's very detailed. They break it all out for you. And if you read this and you're still having trouble, you can ask someone, and there will be always someone available to assist. And that's one of the things I like about this company. They're all friendly to work with, very helpful, and they won't let you hang out there. They'll work with you. You can preview it before you launch it. You can package it. You can save it for the Apple Store. You can save it for Android if you decide you want to host it yourself. You can set it up for the VR gear. You can do Daydream. Right now I have it set up for the web. So I would click this and it would create something for the web. When you go to advanced, you can go into settings. You could put the banner. Like if you remember when I was showing you the example, I had our logo, and you can click the middle of any tour and go back to a certain page. And here you can go in there and do that. So I have it set to go to our landing page. So that way, no matter what building you're at, you will always be taken back home to the landing page, which has our facility rentals, our tutoring labs, our buildings. So that way, if you're using virtual reality for facility rentals and you want to look at another building, you just click the banner in the middle and you'll be taken to the landing page. So it'll serve all areas. If you go to the Mac version, again, all the settings are here. Going back to the web here. If you decide you want to share this on social media, there is a title here. You can title it what you like. You could put in a description, and you can even have a landing image. So if you don't like the image, it pops up. You can have your own image. And when you're done, some code will appear, and you just copy that code or put the, actually it's the link. You put the link in, and what you just typed in there will appear, sort of like in the preview right up here. It's really cool. And then when you're done, no matter what type of package you've set up, you can come here and download it. The QR code is if you want them to scan it and go to your tour. The web embedded code, they provide the code that you can copy and paste and put it on your website, so you don't have to do much HTML. It's all done for you. The open hosted page, this pops up the large image that I was showing you earlier for the mobile view. We use the hosted page for our mobile view. It's a lot easier, and it seems to work really well for us. If you have more questions about the InstaVR stuff, definitely contact Andrew. His information is at the end of this video. And again, if you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to contact me or contact Andrew, and one of us will be happy to assist in getting your college a virtual presence. So on that note, here is our contact information. If you have any questions about creating virtual reality, just getting started for your campus, there's my information. Please don't hesitate to contact me. If you're interested in InstaVR, getting an account with them, learning more about what they have to offer, which they have tons of stuff to offer, contact Andrew and he'll be happy to work with you. Thanks for watching. Hope this was beneficial and have a great day.